continue to reclaim.
Welcome to Special Stage Extra. As you can see, I'm chilling out in the sunshine because there's one event that I've always wanted to cover, and producer Wayne promised me that when we got the gig, I'd be over there covering it, and that's Rally Barbados. Now, obviously, I'm not in Barbados. Something went wrong. So while I make do with a cocktail by the Welsh pool, here's all the action from Rally Barbados. Cheers. Attracting upwards of 40 overseas entries, the Seoul Rally Barbados certainly is a must-do event for drivers from all over the world, including, of course, many from the UK. As well as looking at the overall event, we'll be looking at some of those UK crews, including a look at the event through the eyes of one of the crews making their Barbados debut. The rally takes place over 3 days, the entire 430 square kilometre island getting behind the event in its 25th anniversary year. And with 90 crews starting the rally, including 44 overseas entries from 17 different nationalities, the weekend looked set to be one of the best yet. Before the main event, the crews take part in the Lime King of the Hill, a sprint event over the 4.6 kilometre Vaucluse stage, with your fastest time of 3 runs counting towards your result. With the results this weekend deciding the seeding for the main rally, everyone would be keen for a good time on the stage. Fastest at the end of this qualifying event then were Roger Skeet and Louis Venetia, taking the win by 5 seconds over Jeffrey Panton and Michael Fennell Jr. 2 times Rally Barbados winners Paul Bird and Aled Davies don't get off to the best of starts on the event. They go off on the very first corner of the stage, but luckily with only the best run of 3 counting, they put that behind them and go on to record 3rd place on this event. Simon John Joseph and Jack Boyer make it 3 focused WRCs in the top of the results with a 4th place finish. The former European champions making their Barbados debut. It's UK crews filling the next few places with Rob Swan and Aled Edwards leading the way over Roger Duckworth and Ross Weir by just less than a second. And in the rear-wheel drive battle, it will be a good start for UK Ashfelt regular Simon Major with Melanie Holmes alongside. They finished in 11th overall, taking the class victory. And for Pete Rayner, it would be a last-minute change of plan with his planned navigator unable to make the rally. Daughter Maria stepping in to take over on the notes. And to get a bit of an inside look at the event, we armed Maria with a camera to get us behind the scenes to look at Rally Barbados from the eyes of a competitor.
So we've just landed in Barbados. The guys have gone off to get the cars. I've just been told that I'm not going to be just watching, I'm going to be sitting with my dad in the car. So a little bit nervous, and I think it's time to look at the notes.
Great though, we had a good time. Cars ran really well. Maria started to get a little bit more confident as we went on in the day, so we could push on a little bit. Don't know about results yet. Somebody said we've won the class, but if we have, great. If we haven't, hey ho, we've had a great day.
So we just finished King of the Hill stages. How did you find it?
Absolutely brilliant, yeah. It's a real experience. Great slippy in here on the stadium, but we had some good slides, and I think we were entertaining the crowd, and that's what it's all about.
So with the Lime King of the Hill complete, here's a look at how the top of the results looks. After the King of the Hill, the crews had a week to explore the island, see the sights, and of course prepare for the main event. And with one super special on the Friday evening, and 2 full days of rallying, they would have plenty to prepare for.
We're at the start of Rally Barbados, and this team has been put together at the last minute. Can you tell us how it came together?
Basically, my regular co-driver was due to fly out last Friday and had a big illness problem with one of his guys at work and couldn't come out. So my daughter Maria was already here with us, and she stepped into the fold, and now she's doing the rally with us, so good stuff.
Giving directions to your father, what do you think is going to be your hardest job?
Staying cool mainly. It's struggling with the heat. We did the King of the Hill and we were really struggling with the heat. So yeah, just keep it tidy and get to the finish.
Jeffrey Panton, we're here at the start of Rally Barbados, and you had a fairly good outing, well, a very good outing at Lion King of the Hill. What are your expectations for today?
Well, we're going into this event with a lot of confidence, which is always good. There are still a lot of unknowns. We haven't competed against birds since last year, and there's the unknowns like Simon John Joseph, Swan, Gardemeister. So we won't know anything till tomorrow, will we? Don't think you'll be able to really gauge anything off of any performance here tonight. But the real event starts tomorrow.
Roger Skeet, you're the winner of King of the Hill last weekend. I know you're at the start of Rally Barbados. What are your expectations?
Well, I really expect to get to the end in first place, to put it mildly, but with those expectations, we have a lot to do before we achieve that.
I'm going to have a different approach to what I normally do. It's usually come out all guns blazing, and I'm just going to take it as it comes, and I'll have a very casual approach to the rally like we did when I first started coming here, and see how we get on. So we're here to have a good time, and we'll worry about the rally when it sort of unfolds over the next 2 days. So yeah, I'm not too pent up tonight. I'm not going too aggressive. We're going to have a nice steady approach to the rally this year.
The event starts with head-to-head racing around the spectator-friendly Super Special at Bushy Park. Home most recently, of course, to the Race of Champions. And the crews could enjoy a blast round the 1.8 kilometre stage in front of the fans and, of course, in front of their own teams. And as well as being up against the clock, they, of course, had each other to race against head-to-head. With the cars reverse seated, the leading crews would run around the stage in the dark, and it would be 2013 winners Paul Bird and Aled Davies taking the Stage 1 win. But they would be beaten second time around by Simon John Joseph, who goes into the Saturday morning stages with a small lead of just under 0.2 of a second. Roger Skeet would go head-to-head with Jeffrey Panton, but unluckily for Skeet, it would be a bad night, a time penalty dropping him down to 50th position, while for Panton, it would be third, behind the two similar focused WRCs of Bird and John Joseph. And for Tony Gardemeister and Rob Swan, it will be a head-to-head battle on the stage, ending with Gardemeister coming out on top with 4th fastest time, and a small lead as well over Rob Swan in 5th place in the Impreza. On to Saturday morning and the start of the longer stages, and Simon John Joseph would maintain that overnight lead through the day's opening stage. But it would be one that changed hands a number of times, with Jeffrey Panton taking that from him on the day's second stage, only for John Joseph to take it back again on stage 5, where he managed to hold it through to the 8th stage of the day. Stage 8 though would see Panton again take back the lead and hold on to it for the rest of the day, but it was still close, with the times at the top still only a few seconds apart. Previous winners Paul Bird and Aled Davies started the day with 3rd place, just behind the battle for the number 1 spot. And as with the fight for the lead, it was close. And in fact, it would be Bird who also overtakes John Joseph on the times in the second half of the day to lie in 2nd place, ending the day with just 1.5 seconds to try and catch up on day 3. Tony Gardemeister would have a good steady run, enjoying his first time here and settling into a pace good enough for 4th all day in the Suzuki. There will be 38 seconds keeping him from the podium places at the end of Saturday's stages, but that was certainly good going for the first time on the stages, on the island and in the car. And for the UK's Rob Swan, he would be 5th place, still keeping things as close as he possibly could, but with almost a minute now to Gardemeister up ahead. Roger Skeet overcomes his time penalty from day 1, moving back up the results now and into 6th. Only 5 seconds off the pace of Swan, and he will of course be hunting him down on the final day's stages. Simon Major was having a good run too, 13th overnight before slipping down as far as 20th on the morning's first stages. But the good run would come in the afternoon, the pace increasing, Major ending the day inside the top 10 in 9th overall. Nigel Worswick had his problems on the King of the Hill, but with the generous help of the locals, he had managed to source replacement parts to enable him to compete on the event this weekend. And it was going well so far, with 19th place at the end of the day. Kevin Proctor would be another to have made the trip from the UK to the rally, settling into 10th place at the end of Saturday's stages in his Impreza WRC. And of course the action wasn't confined to the top 10, with crews right through the field having plenty of fun and giving the crowds plenty to cheer about out on the stages. So with day 2 complete, the results at the top look like this. Jeffrey Panton gets a little closer to the victory this weekend, but it still remains close. With plenty more stages to go, this rally could belong to anyone. Sunday then, the final day, and still 8 more stages for the crews to complete.
The times are very, very close, so it's very stressful.
It's pretty close at the front, so it's probably the closest rally battle I've ever been involved in, and probably only ever will be involved in. So it's been a pleasure to drive with these guys. So let's just see if we can dig in and sneak the win at the end.
Plan is to try to do our best like we did yesterday. Like I say, we had some small technical issues, but that's part of the game. Today we're gonna try to do the best as possible without doing crazy things.
I think today we plan a little bit, test car a bit, some small things, very, very small things during the day, and also for sure try to go fast as possible. Not really huge attack, because we have a lot of seconds to the front and also even more to the back, so it's difficult to get any positions, but for sure we try to keep our pace and maybe drive slightly faster than yesterday.
The times at the top were close, a battle between a number of drivers, and some of the locals had their own predictions for the results at the end of today.
Panton. It's about time you win again.
Top 3, Bird, Panton, and the yellow Frenchman.
Bird! Panton! And somebody else.
Back onto the stages then, and the battles would see change in the results from the end of the previous day, with Rob Swan unfortunately missing out on his 5th place to a charging Roger Skeet. Swan settling for 6th, but could feel good about that performance this weekend. For Skeet, it would be 5th, managing to take back just 1 more position on his recovery from the time penalty on the first day. Sadly though, the top 4 were simply uncatchable, and even without that time penalty, the results looked like they would have remained this way. So for Tony Gardemeister, it will be 4th, a great debut on the Barbados roads, taking the place he'd claimed as his own from the start. He may have been a minute off the podium places, but certainly let's not take anything away from that drive this weekend. There will be change in those podium places though, with Paul Bird unfortunately unable to hold on to his 2nd place. A spin in one of the stages costing him that position, having to settle for 3rd. But it was close, only 6 seconds separating him now from 2nd. And in that 2nd place, taking the position back that Bird had taken in stage 8, will be Simon Jean-Joseph. Runner-up this weekend as he pushes all the way to the finish. Just over 2 seconds off the pace at the top by the end of the final stage. But taking the victory this weekend were Jeffrey Panton and Michael Fennell Jr. A very slim lead at the end of the rally of just 2 seconds, and a battle that was closely fought all weekend, with victory certainly well deserved. The crews would make one last run around the super special stage purely for the entertainment of the spectators, but before we remind ourselves of the final results, here's a quick look at how a couple of the other crews got on this weekend. Rhett Watson and James Hutchinson would take the honours in a super modified 12 class, and with great times all weekend. It would be 7th overall for the pair. Kev Proctor and Philip Hopkins' result mean that they take the WRC 2 class win, finishing the event 39 seconds behind the SM12 class winner, Rhett Watson, ahead. Simon Major and Melanie Holmes have a great debut on the event to round out the top 10 and take the super modified 11 class victory. It was without drama, but not without a little disappointment from Major at having travelled to Barbados and still having some rain to contend with. On the plus side, he did say it was warm rain, unlike back in the UK. Nigel Worswick and Rebecca Kirsch would have plenty of drinks to buy as thank yous at the end of this rally, with the loan of parts meaning that they get to the end of the event with 17th overall and second in the class just behind Major. Rupert Lomax and David Alcock would be victorious in the Group A class, finishing the event just half a minute behind Major in 11th overall. John Powell and Nick Telfer have a good run to take a very close victory in the Group N class. They take the win by just 1.7 seconds. Neil Corbin and Matthew Staffner finished the event with the M6 class win, and with a significant lead in that class by the end of the rally. Alan McKay and Mo Downey had entertained the fans all weekend with their usual entertaining style on the stages, and it was fast as well as flamboyant, with a super modified 10 class victory for the pair. Greg Crozier and Natasha Farnham would take the international historic class win, a good lead in that class themselves. And the historic class win at the end of the event would go to Wayne Archer and Derek Edwards. Marcus Tinsley and James Crossland make the trip over to the event from the UK, the only ones in the M5 class, but a good run from them this weekend. Clifford Cox and Scott Bentham, meanwhile, would have a good lead in the super modified 9 class, taking victory at the end of the rally by just less than 3 minutes. And in the M7 class, there will be many retirements, but it will be the victory this weekend for Jamal Braithwaite and Dario Hoyt. And in Group B, it will be victory for Andrew Costin Hurley and Stuart Andrews. They take the victory by a large margin. However, the class battle took a bit of a loss when our own UK crew of Pete and Maria Rayner crashed out of the rally into a tree. They would, though, get the car going again and get back out entertaining the crowds, including, of course, their friends and family who are out with the camera on the stage. But sadly, it would all come to an end when the pair are forced to pull off the stage and stop for good. So with the 25th Rally Barbados complete, here's a reminder of the final results. And we'll leave you with Pete and Maria Rayner to give you their views on the 2015 Seoul Rally Barbados.
Alright, we just finished Seoul Rally Barbados 2015. How did you find the event?
Fantastic. We've had a whale of a time. We've had some problems, most of them self-inflicted, but we've had a great time. Would recommend the event to any English crew to come out here. You're made so welcome. Great sport, great place. Maybe come back again.
So we're right at the end of our trip to Seoul Rally Barbados. We've all had an amazing time. Don't really want to go home. Overall, it's been a really good experience. People are amazing. I'm not looking forward to the flight home. But yeah, it's been an experience, real experience.
Yes, I'm still here sipping yet another cocktail by the Welsh pool. I hope you enjoyed our coverage from Rally Barbados, and hopefully I'll be bringing you it from the island itself. But for now, thank you for watching Special Stage Extra. We love bringing you rally action from all over the world.
Five right flat in and 6 right continued over clear.